next door. It's 1211 U Street, Northwest Washington, D.C. Be sure to check out our very own DJ Bobby Rocks live on location every Tuesday from 9 to 11.
DJ Bobby Rocks make a dance out of shoe socks.
Also, Go DJs for wedding receptions, private parties, and clubs. We play all music, all events, satisfaction guaranteed. Book your events with Go DJs too by emailing events@godjs.com. That is EVENTS at GODEEJAY.com. GoDJs.com. Let's get out snap on.
DJ, oh man, talking about getting your snap on, getting your head bob on,
that was hot.
Tapping. That was hot. You listen to the lyrics to it, it's inspirational, it's motivational, it's
sexy.
I like that. I like that. I like that. I like all of them, but I like that too.
It's just, man.
I mean, the whole CD is just
get it. If
like
those who listening, get it. I don't hype up a lot of stuff. Get it.
Okay, here's a shameless plug. It's available for pre-order on my website right now. That's www.selenamcdaysings.com. That's SELENAMCDAYSINGS.com.
That's right. Make it happen. Make it happen. Log on, click to buy.
Wow.
So a lot of the music is inspiration. Is there any baby making music?
As a matter of fact, I think
you have it.
Yes, yes, indeed. I definitely put some of that on there.
She definitely she got a little smoothness up in it.
Yeah.
Little Eartha Kitt in the house.
Definitely.
I tried to put something on there for everybody.
Now let's just go back into actually the story of your son is your producer.
Yes, indeed.
So let's talk about how that happened.
Well, actually, it happened because he fell in love with hip hop back in the day, and because I wanted to know what he was listening to all the time, I started listening to it, and I'm probably one of the oldest hip hop lovers there are.
Oh, okay.
So I fell in love with it too. So going through the years of him being with me, doing what I do, singing and performing where I was, he was always around the music. Before I knew it, he started writing, and to make a long story short, he just taught himself how to play stuff, how to sing, how to everything, produce, engineer, and all of that. And we said, okay, we need a label to get our music out because this is just not working. He promised me he would make my dream come true, and he's doing it.
Yeah. I love the story of the fact how he wanted to make your dream come true.
Yes.
Let's go into that.
Well, that's I really would like for him to tell you at the bottom.
He's trying to be behind the camera.
Come on, baby, tell him.
Put the camera down, man.
Talk about it.
I thought you was talking about somebody else.
No. But I saw him with the camera. I was trying to wait till he put the camera down.
Yeah, tell us the story behind how you decided to become your mother's producer, engineer, songwriter, everything.
Well, I remember a studio session, and I'm not going to say the studio name.
Okay.
But it was
because they're not paying us.
But it was a studio session, and I remember her coming out in tears. And I was like, what in the world is my mom crying for? You know what I'm saying? I think I was like around 11 or 12, something like that. And she said that the studio owner wouldn't give her her master. I'm like, what? I didn't understand what a master was, but I was like, why is she crying? I just couldn't ask why. He said, because he said that I owe more money. And the bottom line of the story was she recorded, she paid for what the studio owner asked her to pay for.
Yeah, flat rate thing.
But because the music sounded better than what he expected, because he gave her a discount, he wanted to raise the ante, basically. And she didn't have the money, so after crying and plead with him, he finally gave it to her later. But at that moment, I was like, I'm not trying to have my mom crying over no dude over something that I didn't. Music. I didn't understand like how to make music. All I did was rap, So throughout the years, I always said I'm gonna do this. So I said before I kind of put my career out there, I'm gonna make hers happen. You see what I'm saying? So over the years, it took me 20 years to learn how to produce and engineer. Like anybody can produce, but everybody can't engineer.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what took me the longest amount of time to understand how to master. I mean, because I could always mix a little bit, but I didn't really understand what mastering was until I started to compare commercial ready releases. And once I understood that, that's when I said, you know what, Mom, I got a surprise for you. And then I showed her all the money, all the equipment that I bought for her.
She's
okay,
like,
wait, I got it right there. Well, right, no, he's right, but that part right there.
Okay.
When he was in a small studio apartment prior to getting this equipment, and then he told me he was moving into a larger apartment, and him and the love of his life have been together for quite some time. And of course, the first thing in my head is, oh man, she's pregnant. Okay, I'm thinking, why is he moving into a bigger place? He needed a nursery. So I was like, okay, you know, I love her, you know, but baby, no, you know. So I pretended like I was happy about it. And he got to the apartment door and made me cover my eyes and said, don't look, don't look. And I just knew when he opened his door, I was going to be looking at the nursery. And I was looking at a studio. Ooh. I just felt it was just more than I could bear. It was so, wow. It was one of the most wonderful moments in my life. Okay, he said, "Mom will make your dream come true," and I just cried. It was wonderful.
That's wow.
I told him he reserved his place in heaven with that one.
That's a priceless, speechless moment.
Right.
It was. It really was.
My question for you, for someone who's interested in like creating their own studio, I'm not telling you like a ballpark figure how much money you had to put in to create your own, but like how much you think one should save up, or what should they do? Like what type of equipment should they buy? And
I'm so glad you asked that question. If I didn't know how to engineer, I would have told you pretty much everything I spent, which is over 15 grand, just being real with you. Mm-hmm. But what I know now from engineering and learn how to master, you can master with a computer and pretty much a microphone.
Really?
Yeah.
That's it these days.
Literally, because computer software programs come with plugins that allow you to manipulate them in a way to get major label, well, not major label, mm-hmm. but really good levels, because mm-hmm. not to bore you with the technical stuff, but RMS stands for root mean square, which is the perceived loudness that you hear on commercial ready releases. And a lot of people have no clue on how to get their product to sound as big and as full. So once you understand the root mean square and getting that perceived loudness to where it is, plugins like on Logic and Cubase and Pro Tools, they have it, but it's not as detailed as the Waves plugins, the bigger plugins that a lot of professional studios use. So the bottom line is if you know how to get the perceived loudness to where you want to be, mm-hmm. which is available on regular, DAW software packages, mm-hmm. you can get, if you know what you're doing, you can get that sound.
It's something going.
And so, like, I notice a lot of studios, they have to put like the certain material like that, the thumb walls. You had all that all set up.
Oh, he built the studio.
Wow.
Well,
he had they used to use that like the cup holders.
Right.
No, he and Vina built that studio. Wow. Floor,
it's
sound,
amazing.
Everything.
I love it. I love the studio.
Well, the answer to your question, the foam you see on the wall is Auralex reflective foam.
You got the words and everything.
Let's get technical.
Definition.
We're getting a lesson tonight. You hear me?
Yeah, you asked the question.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure there's somebody listening that would like to be able to help their dream come true.
But the key is, at that time, what I did, when I did it for her, I had no idea what all this stuff was. Mm-hmm. But I had all the foam. I thought I knew what I was doing. But what it really was, all the foam does is reflect sound.
Right.
It doesn't actually absorb it. And what I learned over the years from mastering is that you have to find something that's dense that can absorb the sound. And that's when I actually built the studio in Burnell Heights. I paid for I leased a space, a 2-room suite, and I went in there and redid the floors, redid the ceilings, redid the walls. I took a lesson in construction. It was crazy.
And we got this.
And this
you
is
got
what we
that. Absolutely.
But have you saw the movie, of course, Hustle and Flow, right?
Oh yeah, we went to see that together.
I'm sure you related to that
Absolutely.
a lot.
That actually motivated me because I built the studio across the street from West. It was great. That's exactly almost how it went down.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So you had to go find the right mic,
I actually kind of went and purchased everything from the beginning, but then as time went on, I learned what pieces to kind of use to get better.
It got better and better, yeah.
So how's the relationship working? I mean, pretty much I wouldn't call you her boss, but you have to say, Mama, sing that note right. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Anime.
Okay. I'm getting ready to tell you about that right now. I know, I have to admit that it was hard for me to separate the artist from the mama. the son from the producer. So for maybe 2 years, we were fighting. Okay, which is why it took so long to do the CD. But we eventually, once I stopped fighting him and started listening to him, he actually made me do stuff I didn't know I could still do. You know, because it had been years since I hit some of these notes. I'm like, whoa, okay.
That usually happens with most women anyway.
Yeah, but it was good. It didn't start. I know the press was, it didn't start out well. I'm sure we'll always remember that time. Right. But it got better.
So you ain't had to pull your belt out?
No, what you call it? No, he knows better than that. Excuse me. He knows better than that.
So do you work with any other artists too?
Yeah, you know, I'm a music producer second. You know, I'm an artist first. You know, but as far as, you know, I've done stuff with a bunch of different local artists from New York to Georgia. On my website, if you ever want to check it out, is RizionOnline.com. You see all my credits, production and mastering, different things that I've done. You know, behind the scenes, you don't really get a whole lot of, you know, publicity and famous, you know what I'm saying? But I've done a lot of stuff. Yeah. Right.
And I want to shout out to Tamara Wellens. They have a song on his new CD that he produced, and it's a beautiful song. It really made tear up my eyes, and it's with him rapping and her singing the hook. It's wonderful.
Oh, I need
absolutely
that
wonderful. Yep. Yep.
So we're gonna go into the next track on your song. Let's Cry with a Smile.
That's the title track. The last song I wrote. Yep.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Cry with a Smile. How did you come up with that concept?
Well, it's bottom line is I was in the middle of writing a book called Cry with a Smile, which is really my autobiography. But the CD was going to be named My Name is Selena. Well, one day while we were at the studio talking about whatever we were talking about, my son came up with the idea, why not name the CD the same as the book? Because I had been talking about the first 1,000 copies of the book. I wanted to include a copy of the CD for free and donate that money to a battered women's shelter. So when we started talking about that, he said, why not name the CD the same thing since we weren't finished? Now, of course, I didn't have a song called Cry with a Smile for a title track. So I had to write one. Okay, and that was one of the last tunes I wrote, Cry with a Smile.
Absolutely. Well, let's check that out, and then we'll go back into more detail with it.
Let me say this, though. Know that it's about keeping your hope and your faith alive. When you go through changes in your life that sometimes makes you want to cry, know that God is there, so smile because he's getting ready to fix it. Wow. Okay?
And with that being said,
with a leeway,
we're going to go ahead and check out Cry with a Smile by Selena McDay. Give us a call, 301-560-6992.